everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to make vegan stuffed peppers. So first, I'm just gonna make sure I have all the ingredients I need to make these. I need olive oil, so I'm using extra virgin, but regular is fine too. 1 medium yellow onion, so here. 1 medium tomato, here's my medium tomato. 1 clove of garlic minced, so I have my garlic. And then chili powder, cumin, and paprika. So these spices are all optional, but I am including them in my recipe, so. What you can also do is a lot of these make up a taco seasoning. That's the name of it. And so if you happen to have that, you can always use that. If you only have 1 or 2 of these, you can always just do a couple, whatever your preference is. If you also don't like spicy, I wouldn't recommend using these. Then we need dry rice. So I got brown basmati rice. I would recommend using basmati or jasmine. And then brown rice, just better for us than white rice. And next I need vegetable stock. So I got this container of vegetable broth. You can also use chicken or beef if you want. The flavor will be a little bit different, but it will still work. We need black beans. So here's my 1 can of black beans. And then finally, 4 large bell peppers. So this recipe makes enough for 4. At Aldi, the peppers come in a package of 3 if you're getting the multicolored peppers. So I'm just gonna use the same quantities of ingredients, but make 3. And then if I have a little bit of the filling left over, it's not a big deal. Okay. So to start, I just preheated my oven to 400 degrees and I prepared my baking sheet. So I just added parchment paper and then I sprayed a light layer of olive oil just so that it sticks a little bit better. So I'm gonna put that to the side for now. So now we can prep the peppers. So I'm going to wash all 3 of these. I'm also going to wash my hands at the same time. And then there weren't any stickers on mine, but if there are, just remove those stickers too. So with my knife, I'm just going to cut the tops off of the peppers. So you're gonna cut like this, just to get to the very top with the stem off. Okay, so now it should look like this. So I'm just going to remove the inside portion. So this is just like the seeds and the membrane. I'm just gonna remove that. And then it should just look like this, all hollow. I'm gonna repeat that for the others. Okay, so they look like this, hollow and ready to go. So when these go in the oven, I'm just going to lay them down like this. They'll cook like that. And I'm just going to do a light spray of olive oil again. If you don't have any spray oil, you can drizzle the extra virgin. And then I'm just gonna do a light salt and pepper. And these will go in the oven once it has preheated. So while we're waiting to put that in, I'm gonna prep the other things. So first I'm going to dice my onion. So here's my onion. I'm just cutting off the ends like this and peeling off the skin part. Then I just cut in half like this. And what I usually do, there's a couple ways you can do this, but I usually just cut sort of strips like this with the onion. Be really careful of your fingers when you're doing this. And then of the strips, I sort of just cut down the sides. Just gonna get little pieces. And repeat for the other half. Okay, and then if you feel like any of these pieces are too big and not really diced, then you can just go through and kind of cut like this and get those big pieces a little bit smaller. Okay. There's my onion. I'm just going to transfer these onion pieces into a bowl so I can use the cutting board for the tomato. Okay, so I'm just going to wash the tomato. I'm going to pull out the stem and chop up the tomato. So for the tomato, I cut around the core part that you can see there. And then I have this inner part, and then I sort of cut around it again so that we get most of the tomato, and this is the only part that I discard. And then I just sort of cut it up as small as I can. And then I'm going to add the tomato to the bowl with the onion. If you heard that, that was the oven saying it's preheated, so I'm just gonna put the peppers in. And then I'm just gonna start heating up my pan. So this is the size frying pan I'm using, and I have this top to it for when I need that later. So I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of olive oil and heat that up for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna put in the onion and tomato into the pan. So here's my olive oil. Measuring out 1 tablespoon. I'm putting this in the pan. And I'm just using the large burner on medium heat. So while that's heating up, I'll just prep the garlic because that's the next step. So I have my garlic here. I already broke off a clove of my other piece. So I'm gonna use this smaller knife. And then the method is just press down with the knife on the garlic. So you sort of squish it, and then you're going to peel off the outer shell or casing until you have this nice clove of garlic. And then that you're just going to mince. So I just aim to cut it up as small as possible with mincing. There's no really rule of how to do this. Just be careful of your fingers. Okay, so now I have my minced garlic. I'm just going to leave that there for now. I'm going to add my tomato and onion to the pan. So we're going to cook the tomato and onion in the skillet for 4 to 5 minutes on medium heat. So here we are cooking the tomato and onion in this large skillet for 4 to 5 minutes. I just like to stir occasionally to make sure it all gets cooked. And the peppers are cooking in the oven at 400 degrees. So now it's been about 4 to 5 minutes. I'm just going to add in the garlic. Again, only do this with clean hands. And I'm going to add the spices. So here's my teaspoon. So I'm doing 1 teaspoon of cumin. I'm doing 1 teaspoon of paprika, so it can be smoked paprika. And then I'm doing 2 teaspoons of chili powder. And I'm just gonna stir those in. Like so. So after about 1 to 2 minutes of stirring in your spices, you're going to add your vegetable broth and dry rice. So we need 1 cup of dry rice. This is a liquid measuring cup, but I don't have any dry ingredient measuring cups at the moment, so this will work just fine. I have 1 cup of dry rice. And then 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. So there's 1. There's 2. And 1/2. So I'm going to stir that in. Oh, and that's the timer for my peppers. So we'll take those out too. But first, I'm just going to stir this all together. And I'm going to turn the heat up to high so that it boils. And I'm just going to take the peppers out of the oven. Make sure to use an oven mitt if you're doing this, and be careful. So as you can see, they look pretty good so far. Just gonna put these to the side for now to cool. So as you can see, this is already boiling. So I already drained and rinsed my black beans. So I'm just going to add those in now. I'm going to stir them in. Now you really want a large skillet to do this, because as you can see, mine is pretty large and still the ingredients are just only fitting. So we don't want to use any smaller skillet than this. So then what I'm going to do is reduce my heat to low. And I'm going to cover this. And I'm going to let the whole thing simmer on low heat for 15 minutes. So now it's been about 15 minutes. I just checked on the mixture in the pan and I tasted the rice a little bit, and it wasn't completely cooked to my liking. So I gave it a few more minutes covered still to simmer, and now it is up to par. So you can always give yours a few more minutes to make sure the rice fully cooks, or if you're worried about it, you can pre-cook the rice before you begin, following the directions on the rice package, and then once you add it, you'll know it will be cooked because you did it beforehand. But now this is ready to be put into your peppers. So we have our 3 cooked peppers. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon the ingredients into the peppers like so. Just fill them. Here is the finished product of our vegan stuffed peppers.